Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Just a fair warning, guys. This isn't just the worst SpongeBob episode that I've ever seen. This is in the top 5 of the worst episodes of any cartoon ever. Yes, I do think that it is that bad. If you continually write bad episodes, that means you're a bad writer, right? However, if you write something like this, that means that you're a bad person. Speaking of that, let's see who wrote this. Mr. Lawrence? What's the matter, Doug? Too ashamed to put your full name on this piece of shit? Actually, to be fair, Doug Lawrence has always credited himself as Mr. Lawrence. He's also the voice of Plankton himself. Make of that what you will. By the way, that title card is just creepy. The music, just like in the Splinter, doesn't fit for the hell that awaits us. The episode starts with Mr. Krabs taking a money bath in an attempt to fool us that he's anything remotely similar to who he once was. He smells something and checks up on SpongeBob, who identifies the smell as an explosive. That means that Plankton is attempting to break in. We have an action sequence in another attempt to fool us that this episode is like one of those classic SpongeBob episodes. It ends with Plankton firing a missile that doesn't seem to go off. Unfortunately, it going off wasn't the plan. It grows an arm and captures Krabs and SpongeBob. Plankton tries to get the secret formula out of Krabs. When that doesn't work, he gets it out of SpongeBob.
I don't know how to get into the safe behind the painting in Mr. Krabs' office that houses the secret formula. He won't let me near it.
One part of me thinks that that's wildly out of character for SpongeBob, but the rest of me knows that there's no character to be found anymore. When all looks to be lost, Pearl comes in, and for some reason Plankton is terrified of her. Hey guys, you do know that Plankton has had extended interactions with Pearl before, right? Apparently, Plankton is scared of Pearl because he has seen documentaries where whales eat tiny organisms. You know, in a civilization like this, you'd think it'd be a crime for one citizen to fucking eat another! Also, do you waste of functioning organisms know that whales eat krill, not plankton?
Who knew Plankton was so afraid of whales? Oh, and you better watch out. I think she's extra hungry today.
Apparently you did, dumbass.
I prefer salad over plankton anyway.
Pearl demands some mall money before she releases SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs from their trap. Then he suggests that Pearl go buy the chum bucket and give Plankton a scare. She'll do it if he doubles her mall money. So Krabs demands that SpongeBob chip in. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any money because Krabs pays him in play money. Krabs, you do know that that's illegal, right? Because Krabs can't get Pearl to scare Plankton, he asks to borrow one of her dresses.
It's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny! It's not funny!
Meanwhile, Plankton is running home to the chum bucket. Karen is the douche that she always is, and Plankton reveals what happened to his ancestors. They got eaten. Except that they didn't because whales eat krill, you—
Okay, when you need a break from your delusional paranoia, the trash needs some attention.
You know what? I'll take care of the garbage. God, I always hated Karen. Plankton takes care of the trash and gets scared by Pearl. He barricades himself inside, only to find Pearl inside as well. Plankton runs to Karen, complaining that there's a whale in the laboratory. Of course, when Karen comes in, Pearl has disappeared.
Excuse me, I have to get back to more pertinent binary functions.
One more quip out of you and I'm installing Vista on your hard drive.
I'm not listening!
That's it. Come here. Come here. Come here. I got the disc right here. Come here. Come here. Good, that's taken care of. After
16 paranoia-filled days later.
As in yes, Krabs has been doing this for over 2 weeks, Plankton has become that. Yeah, it's no surprise that that's Krabs disguised as his daughter. So when Plankton is crying, Krabs is laughing. I hope that you're thoroughly disgusted with him, because it gets worse. By the way, Zeus, since I hate you the most, I'm going to assume that Krabs in this episode is what you're like in real life. Some part of you obviously thinks that these actions are okay, so I have no choice but to assume that you'd be willing to do shit like this in real life, and find it funny! Plankton, sleeping on a steel bed for some reason, is having a nightmare, and because it's disturbing enough, we get treated to it. He gets chased down a steel corridor by a monstrous version of Pearl, gets swallowed,
Hey! Get me out of here! No!
and meets his deceased relatives.
It's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny! It's not funny!
It's not funny because he gets halfway dissolved by stomach acid. Aren't his screams of agony just hilarious?
I can't take it.
Wait for it. It's revealed that Krabs was the one tormenting Plankton this whole time.
What a twist!
You guys are worse at writing twists than the modern day Shyamalan. The next day, SpongeBob is mopping up the Krusty Krabs when he hears Plankton crying.
What's the point of going on? I'll just be tortured for the rest of my life by that whale. That's it, I'm done.
Wait for it.
Go away, cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over?
Can we hear that again?
Go away, cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over?
One more time, please.
Go away, cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over?
No, I think you guys get it. Just so we're clear on what's going on, Plankton, a character from a children's cartoon, has been psychologically tormented so much that he's attempting to commit suicide by getting run over. A couple of days ago, I reviewed The Mask, a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, about some pretty hardcore themes, to make it clear that it's not the fact that they are portraying a suicide attempt, it's how they are portraying it. Speaking of which, let's see how they portray it.
In fact, better yet, just step on me as hard as you can. Would you do that for me?
I'm sorry, Plankton, but that flies in the face of my good nature.
Good nature? SpongeBob, can we talk? Just for a minute? Does ripping off someone's toenail fly in the face of your good nature? Does letting your pet be tormented by a monster fly in the face of your good nature? Does getting Squidward kicked out of the Cephalopod Lodge and upstaging him at the choir for absolutely no reason at all fly in the face of your good nature? How about invading his house and stealing his television show? SpongeBob, you have no good nature. Satan asks you for pointers. Gone is one of my favorite episodes because you are the living embodiment of evil. Just so we're clear, SpongeBob, the only good thing about the Splinter was that all of it was happening to you. Speaking of having no good nature, SpongeBob refuses to kill Plankton, but doesn't try to talk him out of committing suicide. And yes, I'm saying kill and suicide because that's just what's going on here. When Plankton sends him away, SpongeBob just walks away to talk to Mr. Krabs.
Goodbye, pipsqueak.
Wait for it.
I just thought it would be pertinent for you to know that Plankton's laying in the street. Forlorn.
Really? He's a mess.
Krabs, you do know that driving someone to suicide is murder, right? Even if you have no conscience, which you don't, you sanguine bastard, you will go to jail if he does the deed. What am I saying? In this culture, it's okay for one citizen to fucking eat another! Then again, Pearl will probably go to jail. And you'll probably be okay with that, won't you?
Putting on a dress to frighten him? Isn't that taking it a little too far?
What I'm doing is wrong. I know it's wrong, but I'm doing it anyway. Wow, we can throw pretension onto the pile too. This episode has just everything, doesn't it?
I remind you of the fact that you disclosed the location of me safe.
Need I remind you that you are in the process of committing murder? SpongeBob decides that he can fix this. Kid, this is impossible to fix. Don't even try it. We cut back to Plankton, who is still trying to commit suicide.
Man, what does it take to get run over around here?
My money is on the show getting renewed for a 10th season. People say that the 9th season is getting better. Spoilers, it's not. It's just that they've already hit rock bottom and continue to dig deeper. The only thing they can do to get worse is to actually off a character. And they'll do it too. If you don't believe they would, then you haven't been paying attention. SpongeBob comes out to Plankton and tells him Mr. Krabs' secret fear, and lets Plankton know that Krabs was in a whale suit this whole time.
Why, that conniving bottom feeder!
Honestly, you're too kind. Plankton gets an evil grin because the writers still think that he's the bad guy. Writers, here's a crash course on morality, something you are clearly blind to, and that concerns me dearly. The guy who pays his employees in phony money, enslaves wild animals, spreads vicious rumors, counterfeits, forces employees to work 24/7, and knowingly attempts to drive someone to suicide is usually considered the bad guy. Meanwhile, we got the other guy who does, attempted thievery. I don't know, if I had to pick one or the other, I think I'd go with the thief in a heartbeat.
Oh, this is too much fun. I think I found me second calling.
What, driving people to suicide? With his newfound knowledge, Plankton is no longer scared of Krabs. He traps Krabs and sends in a mime, which happens to be Krabs' secret fear. Okay, so karma comes to bite Krabs in the ass. I don't see your problem with it. And then a pod of whales comes by and scares Plankton off. Turns out that SpongeBob had a change of heart and reveals a projector that he used to show the whales.
Okay, you really are creeping me out now.
No! No!
Let's go back to The Mask, who had a character who thought that all dogs, which could easily be replaced with men, were evil, had a reason to think such, and by the end found out that not all dogs were evil. Here, Krabs, seeing an opportunity, psychologically torments what has become a petty thief, to the point where he's attempting to commit suicide, is happy that he did it, and gets away scot-free. It's not that they portray a suicide attempt, it's how they portray it. According to this, it's okay to drive people you don't like to suicide. I don't know how this episode could possibly be worse. Actually, I do. They could have gone with the original title of this episode. According to the SpongeBob Wikia, the original title of this episode was Plankton Got Served. Was that a little on the nose for you guys? A little too mean-spirited? I'm not gonna have another breakdown against you three because you aren't worth my anger. You aren't even worth my hatred. I feel nothing but contempt for you three. For this to come into your minds, to think it was funny, and to actually go through with this, I have to ask, what are you? I mean, there is only one good thing I could say about this episode. With the backlash against it, and yes, there is a wide backlash against this episode, there is no one stupid or sick enough to try to pull this stunt off again.
I can't seem to get happy. Maybe this will help.
Ugh, fuck me!
All this pain and devastation, how it tortures me inside. All the innocent who suffer from your stubbornness and pride.